Hello, everybody. Free Palestine. Today is Sunday, the 5th of May 2024. What's going on? Hello from South Tyrol, Italy. I am okay. Um, just okay. I'm having some issues in the last few days. I have some pains in my leg, and it's in the real sense, it's a chronicle thing because many years I have tensions in the right side of my body, issues. They result in some sort of tensions, sometimes pains. Now, for some 3 months in the real sense, it has been resulting into certain pains in my knee, in my hip. They come and go, sometimes stronger, sometimes less. It's a chronic thing. I've been trying things, of course, I've been trying according to my possibilities. I've been trying to do this and that, from the acupuncture to the physiotherapies, different type of physiotherapies. But some things maybe are just part of our life. I see it so that way. I have to learn how to live with it, make the best out of it, and navigate it somehow. So I have certain pains. Sometimes I'm also struggling with sorts of fatigue. It's also nothing new. It's a topic in my life that comes from far. I would also call it somehow chronicle. I also have to navigate that one. Sometimes people see me and tell me, wow, you're always fit, you're always up, you're always moving, always doing, but they don't know the whole of me. I am struggling with a sort of fatigue and also tendencies of depression. Nothing new, many years since I can remember, maybe since my adolescence at least. And looking back into my life, I see how I have been trying to navigate these topics, what I've been trying to do in order to suppress, often deny these things, like tendencies of depression, these body issues like pains, tensions, and I believe a lot in the oneness of everything, in the systemic relation of everything, relation of everything hangs together, everything is somehowly one. I believe in unity, so I see that I'm a person who reacts often in a very somatic way. Some things come through my body, showing up in my body with tensions, with pains, and then also have an impact psychologically, morally. I have phases where it's not easy for me to get myself together. What have I been trying in my life? As a youth, I've been trying some things that I think were attempts to self-medicate in a negative way, as many people do, resulting in trying to use some substances. And looking back, it was attempts of self-medication. I'm not judging myself again for that. I did so long time. Those times are over. I respect myself and I look back and I'm in peace with me because I know that I did what I could at a certain point of my life, in a certain time of my life. I didn't have other knowledges, I did not have other means, so I did what I could. Now I see things different, and many things I'm struggling with. I really also connect them to political realities. Just the fact that up now I'm like almost getting like 44 years old, and Many of these topics, I never had language to talk about them, I've not been talking about them much. A lot of it was taboo, a lot of it was unoutspoken, silenced, and denied and suppressed. As a man, as a white guy in the surrounding where I grew up, there was not a lot of language accessible to talk about weaknesses. Today, I would say vulnerabilities, and also, the struggles, the personal struggles that person has in one's life, that I had in my life, and that are political, because now I understand it. They are not only personal, but they're very much also collective. I know now, for example, that depression is a very big issue in the society where I come from. There's a lot of suicide happening, and it's still not talked about enough. I know that up to today, specifically men, as men, we don't talk about feelings, about many things, even about sexuality, about feelings, about emotions, about health. We know that now, the books are out, they are all available, everything is available, statistics are available, that our masculinity somehow hinders us from taking care of ourselves, our beloved ones, our society, our surroundings. Somehow, the masculinity that is perpetuated in the culture where I'm from, I'm talking about a white, South Tyrolean culture. I'm from a German speaking minority, very patriarchal, very Catholic. Many things were taboo, and I think they are up to today. And I think that I personally see that it's important for me to break the cycles of silence in order to heal. In fact, from the time that I learned how to talk about myself, my feelings, my issues, my vulnerabilities of my life, from the moment I find real talks, it helps me a lot to navigate my difficulties, my challenges, my topics. I can say that most of the time I speak to women. Surely my friendship with black women has been key in me finding language, in me finding possibilities to learn myself, learn to understand myself, learn to navigate my own life and the system that I'm living in. So, shout out, respect to black feminist activists, specifically to my bestie. She's not here and on the a lot on the social media, and I know she does not want to be mentioned a lot, but yeah, Fauzia, it's you. But also other influencers in my life who were black women and women of color, mostly. So also now, the beautiful thing is that I have a few male friends that I'm starting to talk to, talk on another level, talk about real life, talk about also our issues, our upbringing, how did we grow up, what were our issues, what was happening in our life, what was our family relationships, what did our culture give us, um, what did it nurture in us, what did it maybe block in us. Yeah, those, I think it's important. We have to learn to talk more, get more real, get more into our reality. So I think I started today with this because I think, yeah, everything personal is also very political. It's very political. So what happens often all around me, also I see a lot of issues, like it's in the news, also here in South Tyrol, in the small place I'm at, people are like, yeah, the youth violence is a lot of people get more violent, and we have to do something about security and violence. Then there's issues of the health. Often those issues are put on the youths. Yeah, the youths, they are lacking, the youths are abusing in substances, and there's new drugs on the market, and a lot of people nowadays, they lose sense and orientation and hope. So we have a lot of health issues with the eating disorders, bulimia, and so on. We have a lot of gaming addiction, internet addiction, gaming addiction, name it. And I'm like, yeah, it's true, we have those things. And it's sad, to see especially young people who are like, struggling, and then maybe harming themselves or harming others on the way. Now, I have to say, from how I see it, we are living in a society that is based on a lot of gaslighting. Um, yeah, so I'm like, that's where I want to raise the flag. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Yesterday, Alhamdulillah, God is great. The universe and those who hold it in their hands are great. So what did I do? I went to Bolzano, the nearby city, because there was another demonstration in the afternoon for Palestinian liberation, in solidarity with Palestinian liberation struggles and the liberation struggles of all human beings, of everyone. I went there by bike. It's an hour and something, an hour and a quarter. And I reached a little late, but I reached. I reached, and it was beautiful. When I reached, the demonstration was at the train station. Maybe there were 100 people, more or less. It was beautiful. People speaking, political analysis, speaking the political truth, at least the truth that I understand, because it makes sense to me, saying that the genocide must stop. Our governments are still complicit in the ongoing genocide. The genocide that Israel is perpetuating against the Palestinian people for almost 7 months now, but before already for almost 100 years has been silent, has been, how does one say it in English? It has been normalized. It has been, you know, put away in front of our eyes. We don't see it. And the whole system we are living in is built to gaslight us in denying a genocide. It's like as if it's not happening, as if it's not there, as if it's not happening, as if there is not a this situation there, where like there's an apartheid system that is stealing the land, killing the people, ethnically cleansing the land, and we are supporting it over decades. Our governments are supporting it, and our policy, also the media policy, the journalism, the way that our reality is constructed as if this thing doesn't exist, as if it's not there, as if it's not happening, or the information is twisted into lies. Like, then they talk about war. It's a war against Hamas, which is not the case, because this is not a war. Because in a war you have to have at least two parties that meet somehow. Okay, maybe you have many definitions of war conflict. If we look at it, it's a genocide. The ICJ says a plausible genocide, and everybody who is looking with eyes like mine would say is a genocide. Why? Because people are targeted with a racist ideology, and they are systematically being killed and ethnically cleansed from the land. So this is going on for many decades, and in the West, it's being normalized and it's being supported, financed, and ideologically supported over decades. And today, this is the one big topic. The one big topic. Why? Because it's like it's breaking open. You see that it's breaking open because people are opening their eyes. Many people, especially young people, taking to the streets, occupying the universities in the United States, but now also in France, in England, in Canada, in New Zealand, down to Japan, many places. People are taking to the streets everywhere in the world because they see that what is happening is a very big injustice, and that the international order is not an order, but in the real sense, it's a disorder because it's racist. Up to now, it's very racist because a few empires or a few countries are holding power in their hands, and they are saying international law is good in some cases. We follow international law when it comes, yeah, Russia is invading Ukraine, so we have to sanction because those are war crimes. Immediately, we have to put weapons there for them to defend themselves, which might be right, yo. It's right because people need to defend themselves, and those are war crimes that need to be sanctioned. Okay, but when when Israel is committing genocidal violence against the Palestinian, the indigenous people of the land, over decades, and now in a very brutal, very openly genocidal style over 7 months, more than 14,000 children murdered, in total more than 34,000 human beings killed, murdered, and there are many more thousands. We are talking about numbers that in the real sense there will be more higher, because a lot of things we don't see, because Israel does not let any independent journalists into the place. They're blocking any investigation. They're blocking the journalists. So many things will still come up. We'll see a lot of things. We are ready. Who wants to see sees a lot of very horrible things. Like I see some things now in the last 7 months, but also the years before, but specifically in the 7 months, that are very heavy. Sometimes my eyes get full. Get the pain is there, and we have to elaborate it. We need to do something to get positive, even though there's so much negativity, so much horror. How do we get positive? So yesterday for me was a powerful moment, standing in the streets. A lady, she was so cool. This woman, she was there giving out these little flags. She had so many, I don't know, 50 or so, and she has these sticks, and then she puts them together and she gives them out for free as a present. Man, she was like lifting my heart. And there were people now chanting, of course, free Palestine, Palestine will be free. And there were some people playing the drums. We were maybe 100 people and taking it through the streets. Power, positivity. When we chant from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, I only chant it with people who mean democracy for everyone and inclusivity for everyone, regardless of your religious beliefs, inclusivity and social justice for everyone. No fascism, no state that is built on an exclusively racist system or a system that favors one religious group. No, inclusive statehood that must be created in Palestine and in the whole world. Because, as we say, as I say, and as everybody that stands on the same line with me says, when we say free Palestine, it's not only free Palestine, the whole world needs to change. All the oppressed people need to be freed. And all of us, we need to free ourselves from the oppression. Because even a person like me, I grew up here in a white system, with a lot of privilege, a lot white middle class privilege, a lot of chances, a lot of gates opens, door opens, ways open to move, to do. But soon, and that is maybe a blessing of the gods, I don't know. Soon I understood there is also something very fake in the system where I am at. And today I have more language. I know that is because of the lies I've been fed with politically, specifically the capitalistic upbringing, and of course the patriarchal upbringing, the racist upbringing, white supremacist upbringing, but also specifically they all intersect. These topics all intersecting. So the capitalistic upbringing, and I said it in videos before, I say it again, meritocracy. The system making us believe that we have what we have because we are somehow better than others, because we are more hardworking than others, and it's really not true. And a lot of things are connecting to that. For example, a lot of you know generations conflicts, generational conflicts. Like us people, a lot of people like my age here, we have big conflicts with our parents. Because our parents, they grew up in those years where everything, they could build houses and buy cars, and for us, we're living in another time. So we always have the feeling, am I not as good as them because they told us that we have this because we are good, and we are good workers, and we are now the next generation, and we cannot get the same, but we are working, so are we not good enough? Like there's a lot of gaslighting, brainwashing done in this system, in our bodies. So that is why my talk, that's where I want to reach to the young people out there. And then no, especially also to the adults. We have to stop playing mind games with our children, with our young people. We have to stop playing mind games, because we are gaslighting them, and then we say that, oh, how come they are depressed, how come they are violent, how come they are sick, they are getting diseases, how come they are so you know disoriented. Man, you cannot gaslight people all the time and then wonder that they are sick, or that they are getting violent, or getting depressed, or some type or suicidal, or some type of reaction. You cannot do that. So we are the adults, and that is where I launched the term also, adultism. We have to stop it. We have to put all the BS, that stands for bullshit. We have to stop gaslighting the kids, because a lot in our system here is very fake, meaning very racist and fake, because capitalism is built on lies. And today it's maintained again, how we see it in Italy, we see it in the whole of Europe, you know, and we see it specifically also in how the genocide that is happening against the Palestinian people is being cancelled from the public view, as if it's not happening, as if it doesn't exist. And when the reality pops up and cannot be silenced again because it's too obvious, it's obviously happening, and because some people they break the silence, then you see the empire, they are trying to lie again, to lie, and to gaslight, and that makes people sick. So the only way for me is finding the truth, because it makes life more real. And as I tell you, I come back to the beginning. I have my issues, and there are enough. I have enough issues, psychologically, physically, struggling, relationship struggles, everything. But studying the truth is important. And I go back to where I started. It's a privilege that I got in my life. I found ways of checking anti-racism, anti-colonial struggles, the history of anti-colonial struggles, the actuality of anti-colonial struggles, black feminism, Black liberation struggles, Palestinian liberation struggles. That is an ongoing history. History is happening today because as we speak now, or as you listen to this, I mean, now is the 5th of May, if you listen to it soon. Oh man, a lot of campuses, universities are being occupied by students who are like, no, we know the truth and we want the truth, to prevail, and we want the truth to change, the reality to change, because genocide has to stop. The support that our Western governments are giving to Israel, which is a genocidal apartheid regime, this support has to be stopped. We need boycott, sanctions, and divestment now, just as was done against the apartheid South Africa system. And a lot of youngsters, but also adults, people who have a heart, have a soul, and people who know that it's just wrong to commit genocide, are standing up, are uniting, and are changing the world. And those who don't stand up, yeah, everyone, life is short. I'm born here, I'm dying soon. Is it in one day? Is it in 10 days? Is it in 10 years? Is it in 50 years? Nobody knows. But today we are making history. So do I open my mouth and say, man, this has to stop? Because if we cannot stop that, then we cannot stop anything. The whole system will be very brutal and continue to become more genocidal, more brutal, not only against Palestinian people, because what happens there, if it's not stopped there, it will not stop there. We know it from the time 100 years ago. So let's pick it up. Free Palestine, free everybody, international solidarity, intersectional solidarity. Big up to those who stand together, no matter what confession. Jewish activists, Muslim activists, Christian activists, Buddhist, whatever. People without any religious confession, just because we are human beings and we know that we need to come together because the earth is small, time is short, and we have been blowing up far too much already. The rich are eating the poor, and that has to stop. We have to tax the rich, and it's the same struggle all over the world. Indigenous people are the defenders of the land. They should be the ones deciding, because they are the ones who have the connection to Mother Earth. They are praying for Mother Earth, feeling, feeling what is good on the soil. We should all go back to that knowledge. We come from the soil, we go to the soil. So let us stick together and show solidarity with all liberation struggles, Palestinian liberation struggles and liberation struggles of all oppressed people in Sudan, in Tigray, in the Congo, everywhere. Peace. Have a nice Sunday evening. Free Palestine.